the end of September. I'm going to talk to you about what we've got on the farm in the way of autumn vegetables. It's of course autumn is a time of total abundance. We've got the last of the summer crops, and then all the autumn crops and the early winter crops. So we're just spoilt for choice really. And I'm just going to take you through, rather than taking you around the field and showing you every vegetable. We've brought all the vegetables into our packhouse barn here, and we're just going to go through them one by one, and then we'll take you out in the field and show you how we grow some of them. So starting with the curly kales and the black kale, the Nero Cavallaro Nero, and then the chards and spinach, perpetual spinach. Lovely cauliflowers. We've got an abundance of these at the moment, and the same with the broccoli calabrese, summer broccoli, which keeps going till the first frost really in November. And we have lots of courgettes still, and the summer squash, the pâté pain. These carry on producing right into October. We have the cucumbers, total abundance this year from the tunnels, as the aubergines also come from the tunnels. And these lovely little squashes, peppers, which are also from the polytunnels. We have the green French beans. I haven't harvested many of these because they're not quite ready, but we have got a lot of them still in the field, and they carry on producing. They've gone right through from August right through till the end of October. Actually, we can harvest those. We've got parsley, the curly and the flat parsley, and these pointed hispy cabbage are a summer, autumn till the first frost as well. And we have the first of our red cabbage here, which of course the red cabbage will carry on right through the autumn and right through the winter as well. And then we have a few pak choys left there. These are grown outside. Later on in the winter we'll grow them in the tunnels, but at the moment they're still coming from outside. We have the first of our leeks here, which is still a bit small, but they're good for harvesting now. And then these are the salad potatoes we're harvesting at the moment. This is Nicola and Marfona, and we have other varieties. And then these are our main crop carrots, which we're just starting to harvest now. And although they're not fully mature, they're good to eat. And continuing with the root vegetables, these are the golden beetroot and the red beetroot here, which we're harvesting outside, of course, at the moment. These are onions. The onions, we've harvested them all and put them in the tunnels to dry off. So these are the ordinary white onions, and these are the red onions, and these here are the shallots we've got. And this is how we store them, in these white trays in the tunnels to dry off. We just sort of lift them up like that with their stems on before we take the stems off. And we're harvesting an abundance of different squashes now. As you can see, even the butternuts are ready to harvest now. They're ripening off, and the uchikuri there, the festival harlequin type squashes. So they're really good at the moment, and we'll harvest them all in mid-October and put them away for the winter. We've got lots of lettuces in the field still. These are the Lolo lettuces, the little gems, and the red oak here. And also, of course, the sweet corn, which is just a fantastic crop this year from mid-August, and they'll carry on right through to mid-October, producing sweet corn. And these little things here are our last of our kohlrabi, which are a bit small, but that's the end. They've gone right through the summer and till now. So that's most of our autumn vegetables. So we're harvesting these Egremont russet apples at the moment. They're lovely with a russety skin, quite a tough skin, but it keeps them very disease free, and they store well. They're very tasty. And this lovely variety is Jupiter, which we harvest in late September. And so we have several different varieties of apples, and we harvest them at different times. And we store some of the later varieties we store in late October. So I hope you've seen some of your favourite vegetables there, the vegetables you love. I'm going to take you out to the field now and show you how we grow some of these, and hopefully you can see and learn what we do. Let's jump into the buggy here and be on our way. And the one thing I didn't show you was our tomatoes. And here we are in the polytunnel. These are our cherry tomatoes, which are very delicious. Still lots of fruit left. Still some turning and some green ones. As long as the sun keeps shining and it keeps relatively warm, we'll keep on producing tomatoes. Definitely into November we can produce tomatoes. Of course the production goes down as it gets colder. And in this tunnel, we're growing standard tomatoes, which are ripening off well. Still a few green ones, not sure if they will quite ripen actually. If they don't, we sell them as green tomatoes for chutney. We've also got here the basil, which we've been harvesting all summer long. Still producing, and it should come to an end soon. And then the cucumbers have been amazing this year, just a complete abundance. Cucumbers, and these will come to an end fairly soon, so there are cucumbers still on here, still fruiting well, and still green, not suffered too much from the red spider mite. So here are our main crop onions. We've harvested them all now and put them in these trays and crates, and we stack them up so the air can get underneath them. The air comes up through the tunnel, and it's warm air dries them off, and we know when they're dry, when the skins are really rustly, which they are, that means they've dried off from that point. And then we'll take them in, before it gets too damp out here, we'll take them in and put them in our big barn and store them in an airy place through, so that we'll keep having onions right through till after Christmas. Really well, as long as they're dry. The secret is to keep them dry, get them dry in the first place. So here we are in the sweet corn. We grow several varieties of sweet corn to try and get a successional harvesting, and we sow successionally as well from late April right through till early June. So we're harvesting sweet corn from mid-August right the way through to the end of October actually. So to harvest sweet corn, you just break it off there, and there we have fresh sweet corn. It's best to eat, as everyone knows, it's best to eat them really fresh. That's pretty mature actually. I've picked that just at the right stage. There we go. Here we have French beans. We actually start sowing French beans direct in the soil from when the soil's warm enough in about mid-May. They don't like cold soil. So we sow from mid-May all the way through May, June, July and even into August. That means we're cropping French beans from late July right the way through. We can keep harvesting French beans right until even late October, as long as we're sowing at this continual space sowing. Just going to harvest one here for you. These are not quite ready yet, but they're nearly there, about a week's time. There's a nice one there. A really delicious fresh or just slightly steamed, or in different salads, or just to eat them as they are. So courgettes are really easy to grow. A lot of people grow them in their garden, of course. We have 3 different sowings of courgettes. The first one is in late March, and we plant some in the tunnels in early May. And then we have a second sowing in mid-April, sorry. We're planting them outside in sort of late May, so it's not too cold. And then we have a third sowing in mid-June, which is what these are here, and they're producing now, and they'll carry on producing for another 3 or 4 weeks until it gets too cold. So we have, I always use a knife to cut them. In fact, just to make a little nick and twist them. Sometimes if you twist them without making a cut, they break. So there we go, that's about the perfect size to harvest them, I think. We've got 2 blocks of squash. This is one of them. We've got 4 different varieties here. The most common one, you know, is the butternut squash. We've got a lovely one here called Hubbard, which is a lovely yellow colour. And then we've got this one here, which is an acorn squash, which is actually, they're really delicious. We've got more acorn squashes here, more acorn squashes here. And then over here, we've got our favourite squash, which is the Crown Prince, which grow very big. And the great thing about Crown Princes is they have a very thick skin, which means they store really well. So what we do is we come out here with a big box and straw in October when they've cured well, and we put layers of straw in and then cut off the stalks, lay the squash in the box, a bit more straw, another layer of squash, and we just put them away, stack them up, these boxes of squash, and they'll keep amazingly well. They'll keep right through to April, May next year. So this is our squash, one of my favourite vegetables, especially the Crown Prince. They're just delicious, although they do get too big. But that's just nature. We have to cut them up to sell them. Here we are in our carrot field. We've covered them all over, as you can see. We cover them over with this mesh, because last year we covered some of them over, but not all of them, and we had a terrible problem with carrot root fly, and we decided to cover the whole lot from mid-July, before the main second generation of carrot root fly population comes in, and we cover them from mid-July until now, and it's been really successful actually. We have got an amazing crop of carrots with hardly any damage. Last year a lot of them split because of the different rain, hot temperatures, but this year they've just been an even growth, so they haven't split. So I'm just going to dig a few up. We do have an undercutter to do this, so it lifts them up and easy to harvest, but just for today I'm going to dig them up with my fork and look how close together they are and pull them up. And they're not quite mature yet. This is the main crop carrots. You can see they're still a bit pointed on the ends, and that will, next 2 or 3 weeks, that will round off and we'll have lovely carrots which we'll put into store. We harvest a lot in the second week of October, put them into store, and that will last till mid-January, and then we come out and harvest them fresh in the field through February, March, and then harvest the whole lot at the end of March to put into store again for April. So there we go. Carrots are sown. Carrots are sown almost the last day of June. The last day of May. The last day of May. I mean before the 1st of June, basically. That's the main crop carrots. The second early carrots, which we've already harvested, we sowed them sort of mid-April and early May, and then these were sown at the end of May. So here we have the Hispy, the pointed cabbage, which is actually mainly a summer and autumn cabbage. I'm just going to harvest one here, and my friend here and I are going to have a little eat. You can actually eat these raw, or they're great just stir fry with a bit of oil, or make coleslaw. In fact, here you are now, if you want to have a little bite. And inside they're very white and really quite sweet. People call them sweethearts. They are really delicious. It's one of my favourite vegetables, most underrated. and just very easy to grow, and just you get a lot of vegetable for your effort. So I've shown you all the great produce we're producing here at Shillingford Organics. We harvest it fresh and take it to the farmers market, or which is on every Thursday in Exeter, or through harvesting it for our veg box scheme or online shop. The Shillingford Organics website is where you can go to find our produce. I really urge you to help us and support us, and because it's such great fresh produce, you won't get anything really fresher than our produce and organic, and we're just really proud of the quality and taste of our produce. So yeah, and of course it's local, and it's only, we're just here on the edge of Exeter, supplying people in Exeter and surrounding areas. So thank you very much for your support.